guys, it's your girl Tymika with W.A.I.T coming to you from the newest and hottest podcast, the Tymika with W.A.I.T podcast show. Now listen, I know that you're following us on all social media platforms, but if you're not, baby, what is you doing? I need you to go and hit all the likes, all the subscribes. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms because I want to make sure that I connect with you. Now on this week's episode, we have a phenomenal author who's also a teacher. Her name is Miss Chamel. I am super excited to introduce you guys to her on today. She's launching her book, Girl, Forget All That. And we are super excited to have her here on the Tymika with W.A.I.T podcast show. Now, Miss Chamel, hey girl. What's up? How are you doing? How's your Saturday going?
It's busy. I'm trying to recuperate from last week. I was working on our last week, and I took a mini vacation, and I'm coming back trying to just get back in the swing of things now.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes you have to take a vacation from your vacation. So
yes.
Listen, I'm all for taking a couple of extra days off. All right. And then school starts this Monday. So you're back in the classroom in 2 days.
Right. Well, I'm getting ready to go back in the classroom. Actually, I'll be in a new role. So some things are different this year. So I won't have my first, I'm subbing right now. So I'll be doing that Friday, and then my new role starts a little bit later. So once I get there, everybody was settled in and everything. So it's going to be all good.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, please introduce yourself to my world and my listeners so that they can know a little bit about you as we get ready to go into this phenomenal interview.
Okay. First off, I am from Memphis, been here all my life, with the exception of going to college at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, came back home, thought I was going to do this fabulous career in accounting. That did not happen. I started doing something else. I did do a little bit of accounting, excuse me. I did do a little bit of accounting and realized that was not for me. And so eventually I went off into teaching. So that's how I got into teaching, because I wanted to do something that really impacted the community. And so went into teaching, and then eventually social services, and came back to teaching this year. So it's been an interesting journey. But that's what it's been in a nutshell. And being an author got included in the mix and all of that. So none of the things that I'm doing now that I hadn't planned on doing, but I just enjoy empowering people with knowledge. So I guess that's where the teaching part comes from. Because even when I'm not in the classroom, I'm still a teacher. You know how they say you're a teacher at heart. That's me. I'm a teacher at heart. So whether it's just in regular conversation, it comes naturally. So it's really not about me being in the classroom, but just it's from the heart. And so that's brings me up to speed to where I am now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Chamel, for introducing yourself. Now, listen, all my listeners know that we always do this segment. It's called Gumbo because I am a 504 girl. And honey, I'm trying to take over for the 99 and the what, Ms. Chamel?
2000
and the 2000. Take it over for the 99 and the 2000 because that's what we do. So on our Gumbo section this week, I'm going to just pull a random question from Miss Chamel. Now, Miss Chamel, I don't know what question you're going to get.
Oh, my goodness.
Girl, listen, we got all kind of questions up in this little bag, our little bowl of gumbo. Okay, so this week, okay. Oh, no. I got to give you another one.
I wonder what that was.
Okay, so that one was about superpowers. So I think my guest on last week had the exact same question. So for whatever reason, my little gumbo honey wants to keep giving people the same question.
Wow.
So I know it must be, I don't know, maybe that's our question for the episode or for this podcast. Okay, so your question for today is, how do you stay motivated and maintain a positive mindset during troubling times?
Ooh, that is so perfect. It's so good.
Yeah.
How do I stay motivated? Number one, my faith has a lot to do with how I stay motivated during troubling times, because I don't know how I would be motivated, because sometimes you can have friends and community, and that's what I was going to say next. If it's number one is my faith, and then it's my community of people that I have that help keep me stay motivated. So those two go hand in hand. but number one is definitely my faith. So that includes just spending time with God, talking to God. Sometimes I have to encourage myself when I don't have my friends there or family or whomever to encourage me. So those are the two key things I stay motivated, and just still live life, still enjoy doing the things that outside was like, enjoy life. Don't just be all about, I got to get this done, got to get that done, but take time to just smell the roses. It helps me keep motivated, pulling back from those things that's troubling me and smelling the roses.
Absolutely. Now, normally, during this segment, honey, I'm playing Back That Thing Up. But since we're talking about the Lord, honey, we're going to play some of Marvin Sapp in the background. Amen. We can't be playing Back That Thing Up as we talking about the Lord. No, we can't do that. So that is so good. And I'm so glad that you got that question, because that definitely ties into your book and what we're going to be talking about. So as we segue into our next topic, and so your book is about pretty much overcoming relationship trauma. And so the title of your book which is on your t-shirt, Girl, Forget All That, which I love that. It's moving forward after a relationship ends. And I'm almost certain that 99, if not 100% of my listeners can relate to that, whether they are male or female, because all of us have dealt with, honey, all of us had to go around and kissing some frogs before we got to the prince, right? Mm-hmm. And so in that, what I would like to do is talk about a topic that actually is a little old, but it does stay in the vein of relationships, specifically with Black entertainment relationships. And so the whole situation with Tia Mowry and Corey, my God, what is the baby name? What's her husband?
I think Hardrick.
Yes, honey. Girl, honey,
yeah.
I'm not expecting that. Not no Tia, honey. We just knew for a fact that Tia and Corey was going to be together, girl, to the end of the world, right. And one of the things that she said was she ended her marriage because she wanted to be happy. Now, happiness it's what are your thoughts on that?
Well,
I guess, is that a viable reason?
Well, happiness, like they say, is conditional. Like it's conditional. It is depending on what is going on around in your world. That's how I have been learning or been taught that happiness is. But when you have joy, you are content no matter what. And so there are times I'm not happy at doing things that I love. Like, for example, you may be at work. Today, I'm not happy because this happened. Do I want to quit my job because I'm not happy today? No, right. I'm not going to quit my job because guess what? I like doing what I'm doing. I have bills to pay. So
that part.
I can't quit today because I got mad at a coworker or whatever the case may be. I cannot quit because today this situation did not make me happy. Now, I'm not in their marriage. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Why wasn't she happy? I have no idea. But I'm just saying from a standpoint of some days we'll be happy about certain things. Some days we will not. Like, happy is conditional. So we have to learn how to move past the emotion. That's another topic there with the book, moving past the emotions, because emotions are fickle. Like, you can feel this way, but you can't make a life-changing decision off of one day. But we don't know what happened. So that's my take on just in general of leaving something because you're not happy.
Right. And honey, quiet as it's kept, honey, they said she found him at the bus stop. Now, I'm just saying, I ain't saying that the bus stop is the reason she wasn't happy, but she did meet him at the bus stop. But no, I agree 100% with you. My husband and I, we've been together 8 years. Girl, has it been that long? Jesus. 8 years. And we just got married last year. And so we'll be celebrating a 1-year anniversary this upcoming October. And one of the thank you, honey, girl. He still got me, girl. He still got me. But I think you're absolutely right, especially when it comes down to relationships, marriage, partnerships, it is not a one size fits all, but it's not something that every single day you're smelling the roses. Every single day the daffodils are blooming and the sun is shining, and you have some very tough moments in relationships, and like you said, we don't know specifically what happened, but if her reasoning behind not maintaining her marriage is because of happiness, I question that. But hey, again, listen, YOLO. People say you only live once. That's debatable. And people choose to make those decisions according to their happiness. Me personally, I think happiness is a huge thing in your life, specifically in your individual life. But I do think that when you're making permanent decisions because of a temporary emotion, I think that we tend to fail when we make those decisions. So with that being said, girl, forget all that, honey.
Yes.
So tell us about, girl, forget all that, moving forward after a relationship ends. Girl, talk to the people, honey. Tell me a little. So what was that? Because I got a chance to read a portion of your book. And I'm gonna go back and finish reading it. But it opens up with you talking about a relationship that you were a part of, that you were in, and how this guy you met, and everything was going great. It was a promising relationship, and then tell us what happened, Miss Chanel. Like, you know what I'm saying, baby girl, what happened?
That's the name of the second chapter. What happened?
Yeah, it is.
I know, but we were in a long distance relationship. So I have to say that because that explains a lot of the dynamics of the relationship. And so when we initially started dating, we were long distance. He wanted me to move there where he was, but I had just started my business. I was trying to get myself together. So I wasn't ready to move. It was too fast for me. But I knew that I liked him. I had interest in him. I saw some characteristics that I really admired, that I would want in a husband. So I knew that. And so, we continued to date, and we just continued to be long distance. I would visit him, he would visit me. So it went like that for the rest of the relationship. But it was in the second year I started to think, okay, let me think about relocating. Because I want to see where this relationship goes once we're in the same city. Well, it's the same state and city, and we weren't even in the same state. So I wanted to check it out, because at that point I didn't want to make a major decision again off of it being long distance. Now some people have done that, but this is what Chamel was thinking. Let me move where he is so I can figure out this is where I want to be. And so that's where I was headed. But it was like 2 years after the relationship, I noticed a shift in the relationship. He was becoming distant. We was already long distance physically, but he was becoming emotionally distant. And so I addressed it, but he never said anything was particularly wrong. And so I just continued on, and it still was interesting and weird, but he never said anything. But it wasn't until June 2018, I said, okay, what is really going on here? Because I was getting ready I had an interview with I was about to have a third interview with a school district. Well, no, not a school district, a organization that was similar to where I was working at in Memphis. And I knew after that interview, they was going to hire me, because I don't went through all this to do this interview for this job. They were probably going to hire me. I said, no, I got to know what is wrong with this relationship. So he finally said, he just didn't feel the same way. He didn't feel the same way that he felt in the beginning. Wow. And I will say this, he didn't want to, because it was 2 years this was going on that I noticed a shift. Right. And so he said to me, and now this is not in the book, and I just remembered this not too long ago. He said to me that he didn't want to rush, like we just talked about Tia, making permanent decision of a temporary feeling. He didn't want to say it's over without giving it the full, okay, is this really how I'm feeling, or do I really need to end this relationship because of how I feel, how he felt on a particular day? So I will give him a lot of credit for that, because I'm the same way. I don't want to hurry up and make a decision off one. Let me pray about it, all of that. And so, But for me, it was the time. It went on so long. And I asked you what was wrong. And it's hard, you
Right.
know, I had to put myself in his shoes. I said that had to be really hard to be honest and upfront with someone who is saying that they love you, want to move where you are now, and you're
Right.
not feeling that way. So it would be hard for me. It would. I'm just imagining that, and you don't want to break that person's heart, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
They sometimes say the truth, we can't handle the truth. Well, it's gonna hurt, but we need to know the truth. And I was adamant in June 2018 that you're gonna tell me the truth because I'm about to leave this city. My whole life has been
Yep.
in Memphis. So you're about to tell me the truth. And so and he told me, and so it was it. That was it. And
Wow.
so yeah, that's how it ended.
That
And
is so interesting. I know that, like I said earlier, Tracy and I, my husband, we dated for about 6.5 years. And it was, people like, why y'all dated so long? It was my choice. I was kind of like, okay, let's just really see. Cause like the first year and a half, you pretty much meet people's representative,
mhm,
and around about the second, third year, you're like, oh, this is really you. And then I wonder, how do you act when you're frustrated? How
yeah,
do you act when, if your food comes to the table, we're at a restaurant and they don't bring the right food to you? Are you going to cut up? You cussing folks out? You getting kicked out? What your family is like? Are they crazy? Is your credit okay? So
yeah,
I wanted to just make sure going into, a marriage with Tracy, that because I had came out of a 13-year marriage prior to him, and girl, honey, all hell happened and the bottom fell out, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this no
mhm,
more. I
mhm.
wanted to make sure that, I understood. And so I definitely understand, what you're saying in regards to, sympathizing with him on taking his time and making that tough decision. Now, I still want to know who he is because he needs to be punched in the face. You hear me? Because of
No.
what he did, and then we'll pray about it when we get finished and turn on some Marvin Sapp. But girl, okay. So my question to you is, you said that he started getting a little distant with you. What does that look like? Because I think that, Tracy and I've had those moments. So I said all that to say this. When me and Tracy first got together, we had been knowing each other probably for about maybe about 8 months. And he had just come out of a relationship. And I kind of still felt that tug, like, oh, I don't think you're completely done with this relationship. So one day I called him. I said, you know what? I said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start seeing other people. I said, and I want you to go and sow your wild oats or whatever you feel like you need to do. And when you get all that out your system, call me back. And it wasn't, he was like, it kind of stunned him because one thing about me, girl, if we together, we together. If we not, we not. I'm not
Yeah,
teetering back and forth with you,
right, right.
And so because I started like you, I started feeling that emotional distance. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this, And so it wasn't but a month later, honey, he called me somebody said, hey, stranger. I said, you found your way back home, didn't you? So when you say you felt that emotional distance, what did that feel like? What were those symptoms of, that moment where you had that aha moment about your relationship?
Um, I guess it was several things. It was the lack of urgency for us to see each other. Because we
Mm.
stayed like 12 hours apart. So
Ooh,
there is no drive down the street to see you. There's get on a plane and go see you. So
right, it's
it
an
was just
investment.
lack of urgency to see me. Um, just not and then not wanting to be involved in some of the things that I was doing. And then when I asked him about plans for his future, I was not included in those plans.
Mm.
And so that was probably like 6 months prior to the actual breakup. And so, but he said, because I asked him about it when I asked him what his plans were, and he said, well, you didn't, previously he said, I didn't want to move. Yeah, I didn't want to move early on in the relationship, but now I'm here. I think I'm allowed to change my mind. So,
Right.
it was very, he was older than me too. So he was more established and just ready, you know what I'm saying? So I think that had a lot to do with him being like, okay, I want you to come here. I'm ready to settle down. But me, I was in my late 20s at the time. So I was not really, just looking back, I wasn't ready to just, let me hurry up and go move with you and settle down. That wasn't where I was. And so, and I think I should have, looking back, I probably should have articulated that in the beginning. But in the beginning, I was just thinking, this is a really good guy. He has a relationship with God. I mean, he honors my walk, my abstinence walk, because he's doing it himself. So I was like, no, I cannot. Just on our story, just on how we met was enough for me to say, okay, this is not some random person. This is something God has sent to me because of how this all came about. It's just still to this day, I can't believe God said how this all came about, how we met at church and months apart, we got reconnected. He's not even in the same city no more. It was just so something. And so I said, well, let me give it a shot. But, fast forward, I'm ready now. Okay, let me see where this relationship will go. Because now I'm ready to even grasp the idea of being married. Like I knew I wanted to be married, but not at 28, 29. I wanted to be married. So, but anyway, but that's how I knew something was shifting, because he was like, not trying to see. And then the plans he was making didn't include me. So I was like, yeah, this is something that's not right. And just it was just dry. The conversations were different. And I can't remember the exact conversation, but I can just tell, like, just the frequency of when we talk was not the same. So, but that's what I mean about he became distant.
Wow. So, okay. So now I'm about to get it all up in your business.
I know I said a lot.
So 2 questions. Abstinence journey. Okay. So I definitely want to talk about that. And then my next question is, do you feel, because I know you said that he's older than you. That's interesting though. Okay. All right. So first of all, quiet as it's kept, girl, you look like you're still in your 20s. Okay, let's just say that. Come on, brown skin. Okay, come on, brown skin.
No, I'm closer to 40 than 20.
Girl, welcome. Come on over to the 40 club. We welcome you with open arms. But okay, so tell me about, what was that defining factor that made you want to start or continue your abstinence journey, into your 20s, because that is very rare. Like, you are a rarity when it comes down to that. But what was that thing? Because a really close friend of mine, before she got married, she went on a, like a 7-8 year abstinence journey. So for people that say, girl, really, no sex, because the folks be liking to get it in, girl.
Yes.
What was that like? Why did you make that decision? Or what was, because I know that you have a very strong presence of God in your life, and your your foundation is faith. So was that the main factor in your decision to remain abstinent?
Yeah, it was, and it still is. So I was about 15 or 16, and my church would always do purity classes and do a whole purity ceremony. So I went through that. Now, everybody who goes through these does not stick to the commitment, especially when you go off to college, get in your 20s. They don't be thinking about that. But I took it very seriously. And I think it's because I listened to the why, besides the don't do this, don't have sex, wait till you're married. Like they taught the why behind it, beyond you might be pregnant at a young age, beyond you might catch a disease. It was a full representation, a full explanation of why waiting is important, and why being sexually pure is important, not just in just physical, that's not just sex, but in your mind. So it was very thorough and honest and transparent. They didn't hold anything back. So I think from then on, I just made this commitment to be that way. And it just, as the older I get, I'm like, well, I've waited this long. I mean, what, and I said, why would I stop waiting now? If I've been, so that was 16, I'm about to be 38. So you're talking about 22 years. That's a long time. years
Wow.
of waiting. It don't seem like that long, but it went by really fast that I think about it. But 22 years, and that wasn't easy. Absolutely not. People think I'm like this person that's just like weird because no, I experience the same urges as anybody else. I am still human. I'm not an alien.
Right.
I am human. I still get all that. It's just that what we do with it is what makes the difference. So it's
Oh,
nothing changes. It's just how I handle those urges.
oh, girl, come on now, preach to the people. Yeah, I think that that's a beautiful thing. I think that specifically when you make a vow to yourself and to God that you're not going to, whether it's okay, God, I'm not going to watch porn, or I'm not going to watch TV, or I'm not going to eat meat, whatever that vow is that
Yeah.
you choose to take. And you're able to maintain it, because people, honey, people slip up. Oh, girl, I slipped up and messed up. You ain't slip up and fall on nothing. It was a decision that you made. And so I honor you for sticking to that decision and for being, a testament and a testimony for those that are on that journey, whether they didn't start out as a virgin, or maybe they did, but they want to step into the journey of abstaining themselves for marriage. So my next question to you is, going back to your book, you talked about the journey and what it was when he made that final call to you, and was like, okay, I'm not in love anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. And then when I read the book, you said that you were in your car when that happened, and it was a defining moment in your life, because you had already made plans to uproot your entire life and move to the East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, to the East
Hold on,
Coast.
East Coast,
And
hold on. We're in DC, Maryland area.
yep, East Coast.
Yes,
Okay,
that's East
cool.
Coast,
Yep.
yes.
And so you made that decision to uproot everything, literally find a new job, everything. And he was like, yeah, no, this isn't going to work. How did your healing journey, because one of your chapters is how I healed, right? So
Yeah.
after you talk about what happened, you go into your journey of healing. What did that look like for you? Because that's a very, being in a space where you feel like you've given your heart to a person,
Mhm.
and they ultimately don't choose you.
Right.
How did that journey start for you in the healing? And I know, of course, it started in that moment, but at what point did you say, you know what, I can't continue to waddle in my feelings or in this hurt? What was that moment for you? And what did that healing process look like?
Whew. I, I can go back to that moment. I was absolutely devastated. Um, because I'm like, I didn't know I would feel that way if the relationship would end, because I'm like, it's not like I have not been in relationships that ended before, but this was totally different for a millions of reasons. For one, it was a long-term relationship, and it was just a lot. I just didn't know I would feel this way. So the feeling of it was new to me. I didn't
Mm,
understand why I was feeling this way until I read about grief and the stages of grief. And I didn't know you can experience grief after a breakup. I had no idea. I thought I was crazy. Like, why am I feeling this way? Nobody's talking about it. That's why I wrote the book, because nobody is talking about, in my circle, in my community, how it feels when you end a relationship or when someone
right,
rejects you. Like, it's painful. It's absolutely painful. If you love the person, it's painful. And so
right.
it was probably because I took off the next day from work. I didn't go to work that night. I didn't go to work the next day. I just was like, oh my God. So, and we actually, me and him didn't have a real, because I got off the phone. When he said that, I got off the phone and cried boo-hoo to my friends and my mama. And so 2 days later, we had the final conversation. I had the final conversation with him. And then I think it was like a week later. Yeah, it was a week later, after the breakup, a little after a week later, I just officially said, okay, you got to start this healing journey. This is real. This really happened a week ago. This really happened. He really said what he said. What are you
Wow.
gonna do? So again, go back to my faith. I went on a fast because I had no idea what to do. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in my career. I just don't know. I've been in this relationship for 4 years. I have no idea, even though we hadn't gotten engaged or it wasn't certain that I was going to marry him, but still it was like, now it's like, oh, now it's certain that this relationship is not, it's not there anymore. So I just didn't know what else to do. So I said, let me just go to God because he got the answer. I don't have the answer. I don't know what else. I don't know what to do from this point. And so many, not just not just for relationship wise, but just my whole life. Like what direction I need to go for my career, what's next for Chamel. And so that's how that started. I said, let me go on a fast, spend time with God. And the rest, it took about 2 years for me to finally say, okay, I'm good. I can take a chance at love again. And yeah, but it was a long 2 years. It was a long, quick 2 years. Just spending time with God is how I started, the fast and just say, okay, I got to heal. Even though there were days I'm like, I would cry every day at work. And I wasn't where I was working, people wouldn't see me. It was like not a public place. So they didn't know I was crying in the bathroom every night for a couple of days, I would cry. And so it was hard. I didn't talk to him. I had no connection with him at all because I was like, I don't want to talk to you. He was like trying to be casual friends, suggesting. I'm like, no, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to be casual friends. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So we can be casual friends now, but I'm saying back then, no. But that's how that healing journey started.
Wow. It's interesting that you talked about grief because that is something a lot of people don't understand, when it comes down to a lot of people think, oh, we broke up, I'm hurt, that's it. No, you literally go through the steps of grief. I heard a lady say once, she said, it's easier to deal with a relationship if the partner passes away. Because all of the dreams that you had with that person, the secrets that y'all shared, it leaves as well, it dies as well. But when you are in a relationship with someone and you guys break up, you grieve the death of that relationship, but that person is still alive. So all the secrets that you all talked about, he now or she now has freedom to tell that to anybody. And the dreams that you all had and the goals that you all had, now that person is able to have those goals and dreams with somebody else. So the grief of a relationship is a serious thing, because when I came out of my marriage, my last marriage, it took me right at about, I would say about 1.5 years, 2 years, to get to a place where I could look at him and not want to stab him in the chest, like, but it's a very, it's a very serious thing. Now that you have gotten past that, the next chapter is back on the dating scene. So how is that going?
Well, it's interesting you made that comment about me going back into the dating scene was very traumatic. Interesting and traumatic. It was. And I know this is a spoiler for people if you have not read the book. And I hate to give a spoiler, but it's gonna give context to the date, going back into the dating scene. And I was excited actually. I was excited, nervous at the same time. Just meeting new people. And I'm just reflecting on how this date came about. And so he reached out to me on social media because he saw that the date that I went on, he saw me a picture of me posted from my birthday celebration, and we had a mutual friend. So he reached out to me. I had no idea who he was. And so I was like, who is this dude? I didn't even respond. And so the next day, my friend said, such and such, was, interested in you. He had sent her a whole essay and stuff about me. And I wasn't trying to give him a chance because at this point, I had been like 2 years after the breakup, I said I'm going back into dating. But this was like months after I made the decision. And it gets weird because I was like, when he reached out to me, I was like, okay, I think I want to relocate somewhere else. So I didn't know how that would look if I started a relationship because I'd already been long distance. So I didn't want to do that no more. And so let me just pause for a second so Chamel can figure out if she wants to leave the city of Memphis. And so I had eventually told this guy, I'm not interested. I didn't give him a chance. Like, I was like, no. at all. And so he was like adamant about give me a chance. And so I ended up giving him a chance, and we started talking, but he had been in a marriage prior to meeting me. Yeah, he was divorced, and he was not trying to rush into a relationship for various reasons. Now that I looking back, I understand why. So he was trying to establish a friendship, whoever he was next going to date, which I really admire him for that. And so we went out a few times, and I said, I'm gonna give him 90 days to figure out what this is. I told he didn't know that, but I said to the Lord and to myself, 90 days, I'm gonna know where this relationship going. And sure enough, at the end of those 90 days, Chamel said, this is not gonna work.
Wow.
Because I saw the signs prior to, but I just was like, maybe I'm tripping. And so I gave it some time, and that 3-month mark, I said, I'm going into the new year with this. Absolutely not.
That part.
I'm not going into the new year. I was like, no, you know what? This is not, I don't see us going forward. We can make it be friends, but definitely not relationships. So he was not kind to what I said. And so he was very persistent in his pursuit. And for months, he chased after me. I didn't respond to any of it. I'm trying to make this short, but it's really the story is a whole book within itself. And so, but eventually I responded back to him because I'm like, why is he responding to me? He would try to get through me to email, just all kinds of things. And so I responded to him through email. Yeah, I know. I responded to him through email, and he apologized for all that he had done. Wow. I said, wow. I was like, he's very serious. I knew he was serious too, because I just like, this is not the same person I met a year ago. Wow. And he apologized for everything in the email and on the phone. He apologized because he was not ready to get back into a relationship, because he was not healed from his previous relation. So that goes back to my book.
Yep.
Get out. So, it was so, I appreciate his apology, because a lot of men, I'm just gonna say, a lot of men do not do that. They will hurt women, and you don't get an apology. You don't get closure. You don't get any of that. So we started again casually. We went out one time, and it was different. It definitely was different. And unfortunately, last March, he ended up passing away. Oh. And I know but wow. It was a hairy experience, but I appreciate my experience with him. So it was in the first time we met, it was he was all over the place because he was not healed. But the second time I got the apology, I'm glad I responded. I learned a lot from him, actually, because he taught me to slow down in dating. And he was like, when I heard that he passed away, now for there's a reason why I understand now what he meant, because my last conversation with him was about, we think we're ready for things and we're not ready. So he was a preacher. So he gave me a sermon before he left this earth. That was the last conversation we had, was a sermon from him. I don't know if I was his last sermon, but because it was the day before he passed, he gave me this sermon. And I was like, that would always stick with me. Like, he taught me, Chamel, you need to establish a friendship with people. And I said, wow, I didn't think I would learn that lesson from him, but I did. Wow. And it was a hard lesson. I said, Lord, wait a minute now. Why I gotta learn a lesson this way? But we had some, but you know what? Let me go back to the first date. It was like the best date I had so far. The best first date. Wow. I was like comfortable. We talked, we laughed. Like, it was great. I'm telling you, it was the best day I've ever had so far. So I don't, after that things happened, but I have to say it was the best day I ever had so far. Because I know there'll be other dates that I'm gonna have. It's gonna be great. But I appreciate the lesson in my journey with him, establishing a friendship. And I don't think I've never done that. I didn't know what that looked like. And so he taught me how that looks. And so, but yeah. Anyway, no, we're not gonna cry today about that.
Oh,
So
he came and did what he was supposed to do. That's
he
what it
did, and I don't
was.
want this to be a discouragement to people who are watching. It's life happens, you
Yeah.
know. Did I know he was gonna pass away? Absolutely not. Didn't see that coming. But again, it's a lot. I wrote about that experience in the book, Back into the Dating Scene. I can't say that all here, so y'all gotta go get the book to get all that.
Yes, listen, go get the book, honey. All right, so Miss Chamel, we're gonna get ready to close out. I got one more question for you. I was reading when you said that the breakup was a blessing, and so I was reading the checklist of everything that you that was post breakup and was a blessing. And one of the things you said was, I received a different outlook on pain. I realized at some point I was going to get hurt by someone, because people are not perfect, not even the people that love me. Oh my God. When I read that, I was like, goose pimples. Like, oh my God. That is so profound, because I think that we don't realize it, we place unreachable expectations on people, you know, especially people that we're in relationships with. And, you know, we have this checklist. Oh, you can't hurt me. You can't say this to me. And a lot of times, and 90% of the time, I dare to even say that. But when we are hurt by someone that loves us, a lot of times it was never their intention to hurt us. And so when you said that you received a different outlook on pain, I was like, girl, that right there, honey, I had to highlight that in real talk, because like you said, people are not perfect. So as you're going into, you know, the dating scene and you're meeting new people, because you were also talking about how you've been able to develop deeper relationships with your current family members, friends, and stuff like that, going on to the dating scene or continuing in the dating scene, now that you understand that people aren't perfect, and even the person who you see as perfect still is human. Like you said, we're not aliens, we're humans. And as long as we're in the skin of humanity, hurting someone, as much as we try our best not to, a lot of times we do it without even realizing that we're hurting them. So in understanding that, going into the dating scene, how do you go into relationships now, or how do you go into the dating scene understanding that one thing?
Ooh, man. Well, I've been learning about the character of a person.
Ooh,
because
good.
that goes back to the ex, because you just said it, like, even the people that we deem as perfect or that love us will hurt us. And he was, did I like how that relationship ended? No, I do not. But to this day, I deem him as someone with good character. He just did what he did. And so now when I go into a relationship, I look at this person's character, because if I address something that I don't like with you, how are you responding to that? Is it you're going to make adjustments to? And that I just learned about. I literally was just reading about this in a book. Just how are you going to adjust to what I have an issue with? Like, he would do that. The previous boyfriend, he would do that early in the relationship. If this was something I had an issue with, he would correct it, make a change. And so if I notice you're just saying, okay, this, no one is perfect. Some things that won't change, but if it's the thing that matters to me, that's going to determine if I want to continue being friends with you, or even, you know, then be in a relationship, I'm going to say, okay, this has to change, or I just can't. That's a boundary for me. That's a boundary. If this doesn't change about you, I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's, you know. And so I haven't gotten a chance to implement that yet, but that's the mindset that I'm going with as I venture back out there, because especially after the last situation, the when I get back into the dating scene and that traumatic event happened, it's difficult. Even though he taught me a lot, I have to include that part about establishing a friendship. Even my friends have hurt me, and we have talked about it. That's a good example. We have talked about it, put it on the table, and moved on. So that's what I'm looking for. Like, we can talk about it as an adult and realize, you know, this is where I went wrong. This is where you went wrong. How do we move past this? Like, we're all adults here. We need to learn. Communication is important. That's just something
Oh,
that I
yes.
love. Communication for it.
I think, it's, you have so many great nuggets in your book. It's like I have so many questions that I know we're already almost to our end of the interview, but I have one more thing.
Okay.
In your book, you gave after breakup tips. And one of the things, and it kind of aligns with what you were just saying, you said it is okay to focus on you. It is okay to take time to love yourself back to being healthy and free. And I think when you mentioned about the boundaries and understanding that you don't have to be a doormat for love,
Right.
you don't have to,
That's
whether
good.
that's a love in a relationship, whether that's love in a friendship, a parent, mother, daughter, sister, brother, whatever. You don't have to be a doormat for love, And so when you said, it's okay to focus on you, and now that, like you said, you're kind of in and out of the dating scene and stuff like that, what does that self-care look like you when you're focusing on you and you're like, okay, because like I said, you have so many nuggets. You talk about fasting and establishing a relationship with God, and girl, I'm telling you, honey, I like your book, let me tell you.
I did have a lot, and just the could have been more, but I had to stop somewhere.
Wow, I'm telling you, your book, I wish I would have had this book when I was going through my breakup. But I think that now on the opposite side of it, it's like, okay, if I know somebody going through, I'm like, girl, forget all that. You need to go get that book, right? And so, but you talked about, just fasting, having a fasting and prayer life with God, and maintaining that relationship and strengthening that relationship. And so you talk about it's okay to focus on you. So when it comes down to self-care post breakup, what does that look like for you? And what tips could you give our listeners?
For me, it looked like my health, taking care of my health, making sure I'm eating the right things, making sure that I am knowing who I am, like knowing my worth, because that's going to determine the next relationship I get in. The people that I allow into my life, that's going to be determined by how I look at myself, how I value myself. So that includes doing my affirmations, just reading, continuing to, because it doesn't stop just because I'm not trying to heal from a breakup. I continue to remind myself of who I am, because that's important, because you don't know who you are, it's going to affect a lot of areas in your life. So that's part of my self-care, just from a spiritual and personal standpoint. But just, and making sure I'm still doing the things that I enjoy doing, because I think, I know in their relationship, I kind of lost myself. I was like, well, he doesn't like doing it, let me shut down. No, this is something that
Wow.
Chamel's enjoy, and she's gonna keep doing it. Now, eventually someone's gonna come along and enjoy some of those things that I enjoy as well. And that's actually what happened in the last situation. He enjoyed a lot of the things that I did. Obviously he wasn't the husband for me, because he, went on to pass away. But just having that experience let me know that I can share those things that I enjoy with the next person. And so just continue to do the things that I love to do, regardless of this person enjoys it or not. So that's a big factor for me, not losing myself in any relationship.
Wow, that's a good one. That is a good one, because I think we get so we drown, sometimes we tend to drown ourselves in relationships, thinking
Yeah.
that that's love, and thinking that, oh, I have to conform to this person in order for them to like me. And the truth is that they're gonna, whether if they come in already trying to adjust who you are, 9 times out of 10, that's not who you're supposed to be with.
Yeah.
So okay, one last, oh my God, I got so many questions. Okay, so you end the book with two things, with a list of scriptures for people that are dealing with they're dealing with post breakup, and then you also provide a list of resources. So when it comes down to post breakup, what's your favorite scripture?
Oh, oh my gosh. It's Isaiah. Oh my goodness. I just love the book of Isaiah. I got the book right here, y'all.
Yeah.
Isaiah. I know what it says, but I cannot. I think it's Isaiah. Can I pull it up right quick? I know I have it right
Yes.
quick. Let me pull it up really fast. I don't want to mess it up. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about it while I'm searching for it. But this one was really helpful as I grieved the last situation, because now I had, because the book contains two types of grief: of, or a death of relationship, and the death of that relationship and his physical death. So it was like
Right.
double grief. I don't know if that makes, double
Yeah.
grief. And so, and it was not easy. It's grief is so stupid. I said this to me. I said, it's so stupid. I do not like grief. I don't know who does, but I'm just saying it's so stupid. Like, oh my God. Why do we
It's
have to deal with
definitely
this?
life changing. Yeah, it
It
is.
is.
It's something that our hearts, yeah, it's crazy. But you know, when we come out of it, it's like, oof, honey, it's a blessing to come out of it.
Right. Okay, here it is. Isaiah 43:2.
Ooh,
It says, when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. And that's just one of the translations. So Isaiah 43:2 is one of my favorite ones to deal with all of that I had to deal with.
right.
Because even though in a nutshell, you're going through this difficult journey, but he just said it's not going to consume you. So grief
Exactly.
is difficult, but it's not going to consume, because it can consume you. It really can, and it can take you out of here. But he just told me it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to
Yes.
consume me, and it won't, because
Yes.
I'm going to trust that, that it won't. So yeah.
Yes. Come on, Bishop Chanel.
Oh my goodness.
I have truly enjoyed your book. When I tell you, I really wish that I had this during my post breakup. But you know, God knows, and everything is in his timing. And so I think that everything, you know, like the Bible tells us, all things work together for the good of them who
Yes.
love
Oh, I
God.
love
And
that
so
one. Yeah.
yes, and so going through that, you are able to create something that can not only empower, but also help people to sustain themselves, you know, as they're going through their post breakup. So, Miss Chanel, please tell us how we can find your book, how we can follow you on social media, website, everything but your phone number, your address, and your birthday, and
You
the
can
last four of your social.
my website is www.breakingitdowncj.com. There you can find both of my books. I have the book W.A.I.T, Women Intimate Tales, and then of course Girl Forget All That is available on the site. And there you can also, if you're interested in booking me to be a speaker for any event, there's a contact form there that you can fill out. Currently on Instagram, you can find me at Girl Forget All That. Girl Forget All That. That's where I'm most active with, as far as the breakup topics and things of that nature. But Girl Forget All That on Instagram. And Facebook, I'm not doing anything with that page yet. So if you go there, you will not see anything there much but Instagram. And then email breakingitdowncj@gmail.com. breakingitdowncj@gmail.com. My book is available on Amazon, so you can purchase it there if that's your preference to do that. But like I said, you can get it off the website as well. By the time this airs, my book release party will have happened. So it's a week from today, actually. And so I'm excited about that. Just know if you read it, make sure you leave a review on Amazon or on social media, both if you want to. That would be great as well, just to help get the word out, because people don't realize this is important, because you have 50-year-old women, 60-year-old women who are still bitter about Johnny when they were 20. So I
Yep.
think it's
Yep.
important. And I'm laughing, but I'm very serious. Like that. And you just say, yeah, it's very important that we heal from these things so we can live this abundant life. That was my whole point, to live the life that God wants us to live. So I'm done preaching today. That's it.
Yes, the Bishop Chanel, honey. Yes. You can book up for all your lists. You got a revival coming up. You better call her. A singles ministry, call her, honey. She gonna
Call
tell you.
me. Singles ministry, women's ministry, all of it.
Yes, all of it. Oh, Miss Chanel, you have just been a joy to interview and
Yeah,
to
thank you.
grace. Yes, and to grace the podcast, our platform, with your magnificent presence. Just oh my God, I am just in love with your book. I am in love with you. I want a t-shirt, so save me one, honey. It's like a girl, forget all that. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you again so much for, like I said, for gracing us with your, your spirituality, sharing your journey with us, providing practical tips,
Yeah.
scriptures, for people to be able to come out of their post breakup on top, successful. I believe that everything that we go through, like I said, my favorite scripture is all things work together for the good.
Yeah.
So everything that we deal with, it's only temporary. It hurts, it's difficult, but we have to remember that it's only temporary. So we want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Iyanu Organics. You guys don't forget to go and follow them on all social media platforms. They are a 100% organic and vegan hair care line. So definitely reach out to us so that we can help provide you with the hair care that you need. And also we want to give a huge shout out to our partners, Vibranium Consultants. So if you are looking for business management, website, or graphic designs, please reach out to Vibranium Consultants. If you are looking for a Black-owned publishing company, Curry Brothers Publishing is at your disposal as your girl. Pick up. If you are looking for a Black-owned publishing company, Curry Brothers is available and they are at your disposal. And also, if you're looking for party rentals, make sure you reach out to Inflatable Clubhouse. They have phenomenal inflatables for your birthday party, graduation, wedding, whatever it is that you have going on. They can service your needs. So we thank you all again. Please, please, please continue to follow Miss Chamel, Bishop Chamel, honey. Follow her on all social media platforms and go get her book, honey. Go and get Girl Forget All That. Make sure you get that book. And hey, you may not be going through a post breakup, but you may know someone who is. And if you do, if you don't want to buy it for yourself, purchase it as a gift for somebody else. Because honey, we are in the business of empowering our sisters, our brothers, our daughters, our sons, our parents, and everyone in between. We want to make sure that you are able to live your best life. Because honey, if we're gonna do this thing called life, we might as well do it well. It's your girl, Tymika with the Y, coming to you once again from the newest and hottest podcast, the Tymika with the Y podcast show. And make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, because listen, if you're not, baby, what is you doing, right? So again, thank you all for joining us on today. As always, smooches and smooches and deuces. All right, guys, we will see you all on the next one. Don't forget, go and follow Bishop Chamel. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.